Tyreek Hill predicted as trade candidate for Dolphins after Miami's 0-3 start. The Miami Dolphins have stumbled to a frustrating 0-3 start, and with the trade deadline looming, speculation around star wideout Tyreek Hill is heating up again. Hill, who hinted at leaving Miami after the 2024 season, now finds himself back in the rumor mill amid the team's struggles and reported off-field tensions, including with quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. Why does Tyreek Hill's future in Miami look uncertain? At no point in his career has Hill's future in the NFL felt this uncertain. 2 seasons ago, he was widely regarded as the league's best wide receiver, earning back-to-back first-team All-Pro selections and topping 1,700 receiving yards. Last year, however, didn't go as expected. In Tagovailoa's absence, Hill struggled to make an impact, and even after the quarterback returned, he never recaptured the explosive form of his peak seasons. The frustration boiled over, leading Hill to suggest a trade request that ultimately never materialized. But after a crushing Week 1 loss to the Indianapolis Colts, those frustrations resurfaced when he was caught complaining on the sideline, reigniting speculation about a possible move. 2 more defeats only intensified the speculation, as cracks in Miami's chemistry became harder to ignore. That's why PFSN's Tim Crean identified Hill, along with Jalen Phillips, as a prime trade candidate. Mike McDaniel may have saved his job by getting his team to play hard against the Buffalo Bills on Thursday night, but the team is still 0-3 and going nowhere this season, Crean wrote. If they continue their losing ways, the 2026 offseason could be a perfect time to blow it up and start from scratch ahead of what should be a deep quarterback draft class. Crean argues that Miami shouldn't wait until the offseason to face reality. With the team stumbling out of the gate, the trade deadline presents a chance to stockpile valuable draft capital and begin laying the foundation for a long-term rebuild. Tyreek Hill has a lot of on-field value for teams willing to look past the ugly off-field accusations, Crean added. On the defensive side, Jalen Phillips is a young pass rusher with upside who several teams will covet. The biggest issue here is general manager Chris Grier, who Dolphins fans would love to see go, but who may not be willing to tear down the mediocre team he built over the last 9 years he's been in charge. Despite the drama, Hill has still produced 15 receptions for 198 yards and a touchdown through 3 games. Yet a change of scenery could be what he needs to rediscover his all-pro form, and few destinations make more sense than a reunion with the Kansas City Chiefs. Hill's chemistry with Patrick Mahomes is well documented, and with Kansas City's wide receiver core thinned by injuries and suspensions, the Chiefs could be motivated to explore a blockbuster move before the trade deadline. The smoke swirling around Hard Rock Stadium isn't just the South Florida humidity. It's the cloud of uncertainty settling over the Miami Dolphins after a disastrous 0-3 start. Once a team pegged as an AFC contender, Miami suddenly looks disjointed, rattled, and teetering on the edge of collapse. And in times like these, when locker rooms splinter and front offices panic, even the brightest stars can become trade chips. That's where Tyreek Hill enters the conversation. Just 2 years ago, the Dolphins mortgaged a treasure chest of draft picks to pry Hill away from Kansas City, handing him a contract that reset the wide receiver market. He was the centerpiece of Mike McDaniel's offense, the cheetah in motion, stretching defenses horizontally and vertically, creating chaos. He was supposed to be the insurance policy for Tua Tagovailoa's development, the proof that Miami was done rebuilding and ready to dominate. Now, with the Dolphins sinking fast, insiders whisper that Hill could be the next blockbuster trade piece to hit the market. The case for a trade. On the surface, trading Tyreek Hill seems unthinkable. He's a top 3 receiver in the NFL, a matchup nightmare who still terrifies defensive coordinators. But football is a business, and the cold truth is this. Hill is 31, his cap hit balloons in 2026, and Miami suddenly doesn't look like a team built to win now. The Dolphins' defense has been shredded, the offensive line is in shambles, and Tagovailoa, once an MVP candidate, is pressing, looking more like the uncertain rookie of 2020 than the field General McDaniel envisioned. If the season spirals further, Miami's front office may decide that retooling around draft picks and cap flexibility is wiser than clinging to a superstar whose prime years may be wasted on a sinking ship. And let's not forget, contenders are always desperate for speed. Just as the Rams once pushed all their chips in for Odell Beckham Jr., or the 49ers for Christian McCaffrey, someone will talk themselves into Hill being the missing piece. Potential suitors. It doesn't take much imagination to envision the suitors. The Baltimore Ravens have long been hunting for a game-changing receiver to complement Lamar Jackson. The New York Jets, ironic as it sounds, could pair Hill with Garrett Wilson to give Aaron Rodgers one last nuclear weapon. The Detroit Lions, hungry for their first real taste of Super Bowl glory, might be willing to push all in. But perhaps the most tantalizing option? A reunion in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes has made magic with less, elevating rookie Xavier Worthy and journeyman alike. But the Chiefs' offense hasn't been the same since Hill departed. Could Brett Veach pull the trigger on a bold move to bring the cheetah back home? Imagine Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Hill reunited, staring down the AFC come January. It's the kind of storyline that would light the NFL world on fire. Locker room fallout. Of course, moving Hill wouldn't be without consequences. He's not just a highlight reel on Sundays. He's the emotional engine of Miami's locker room. His swagger, his energy, his relentless confidence has been part of the Dolphins' identity. Trading him could send the message that the front office is giving up, punting on the season, and turning its eyes toward 2026. How would Tua react? Already under fire for Miami's struggles, losing his most reliable weapon might be the final push toward a quarterback controversy. And what about McDaniel? His scheme is built around speed and space. Take away the cheetah, and suddenly the Dolphins' offense looks a lot more ordinary. The other side of the coin. Yet there's another angle here. Maybe Hill himself would welcome the move. For all his bravado, Hill is a competitor. He left Kansas City not just for money, but for the chance to be the guy, to prove he could elevate a franchise. If Miami is slipping into mediocrity, Hill may not want to spend the twilight of his prime years watching January football from the couch. He's been outspoken before about chasing legacy, about wanting to cement himself as one of the greats. That legacy burns brighter under playoff lights, not in December games with draft order implications. The prediction. So where does this leave us? As the losses pile up, the whispers will grow louder. Front offices talk, agents stir the pot, and media speculation turns into pressure. Hill won't say it publicly. He's too savvy for that, but rival teams will start dialing Miami's number.